What's up, Timmy Academy? We are back with another collection pickup. Two collection pickups. We had a small one and a fairly large one. The price points were in the 700 range for the smaller one, and the 4,200 range for the larger one. I wanted to record this mostly to talk about grading again and go over distribution of grading and what to expect when you're buying collections and what happens when the grade is better than expected and what happens when the grade is worse than expected. So we've got this 90s and early 2000s. It's really kind of spread out between the mid 90s all the way up to, I want to say, like M13. There's a lot of Avacyn Restored, up to even, trying to think where it cut off. Maybe like that Avacyn block. And it had some spicy 90s reserve list stuff. So we had a couple Mox Diamonds, Volrath Stronghold, Alurin, Intuition, a couple Lion's Eyes, and there was one more Mox Diamond as well. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So some of these have already sold. They sold pretty quick to our regulars in the Goods MTG. So if you do want first dibs on the stuff that's being videoed here, check the link below, or it's not a link, but the Goods MTG. Find us on Facebook, ask for an invite, and we'll let you in. Highly exclusive club. So let's talk about grading. Most of this collection was in super nice condition. A lot of LP, a decent amount of near mint. Let me stack it up so you can kind of see. So let's zoom out a little bit here. Professional YouTuber. And I'll even take this off and let's take a look, because it's best to see this from a different perspective. I'm going to put a marker here because I actually uploaded some of this on TCG Player already, so it's good to know where I left off. All right, so this is an unusual distribution of near mint, LP, and MP grading, especially for a collection that's on the older end. These cards were very well taken care of. The one thing I did notice is the gentleman who sold us this collection, who's actually found us here on Timmy Academy, it looks as though he was a bridge shuffler, or I forget what the other name for it is. I always called it bridge shuffling. Where you take the cards, you kind of do this deal, right? So there's a lot of the cards have a wave to them from the center of the card sideways, and it's not a crease. There's no shuffle creasing or anything like that. It's just there's a little bit of wave to the top. So a lot of them are, I would mostly call near mint, but they have that little. So we put it in the the camera stopped. We put it in the LP category. Now, when you get a collection that's a lot of near mint and mid-range LP and a small amount of MP, this is good. This is good for our bottom line. The TCG low generally draws from LP condition, so near mint could be a couple percentage points higher, and so you catch a slight premium on the near mints, which is great. a lot of times what we find is you're going to find a lot of LP, a small amount of near mint, and a small amount of MP. Now, what we did have in this collection is the higher end cards were in the more MP. I'm not going to say bordering on HP, but definitely solidly MP, almost MP minus. I'm almost uncomfortable calling those Mox Diamonds MP, but they still look pretty good. And actually, the surfaces are pretty nice on the fronts, but the backs are pretty rough and the edges are pretty rough. But the surfaces are decent. So we had the same distribution on this other collection. So a lot of the stuff is going to be near mint. So this is a smaller collection, just a bunch of newer stuff. We're going to just pop this all on TCG Player. It's going to get sold in the next couple days, and we'll call it a day. So this is what we call just the turnover collections, right? Somebody needs cash. In this case, dude's buying a house. He needed closing costs. And this is where a majority of our sales get done. And it's just an easy turn. They don't want to deal with it. They need cash in hand today, and we provide that service. We're going to do a whole video on providing that service, what it means to be a good dealer, that kind of stuff soon. Some of the LPs are things that I would have wanted to see in near mint. So like some of these foils, and then of course the Big Daddy. This made up about almost half, about 40% of the value in the collection was this foil Renin 6. And it will sell in LP, but when I see high-end foils like this, I want them in near mint because near mint sell quick. LP tends to sit for a while. So just be aware of that when you're buying collections. And then we've got a few MPs just for, again, Swan Song in foil. 3 of these are foil and 1 of them is reserve list. So not the things you want to see in MP. I'd rather see a couple like $5 staple cards in MP, but it is what it is. Catching the premium off of this little bit of near mint will help the illiquidity of the Renin 6. In other words, the more dollars you can capture in this pile will allow that Renin 6 to sit in inventory longer without you having to worry about it so much. And that's kind of the same with this. These diamonds, these higher end stuff that is mostly in the MP, or I'd say it's about half MP, half LP. And the intuition was actually near mint. Not going to catch a premium on any of those. And for what we paid for the collection, the few higher end cards are roughly, I want to say, half of the value, and the rest is this kind of stuff. We'll go through some of the cards, and like I said, a lot of this stuff was definitely sleeve played, really nice condition. It's just normal, modern Commander staples from that era. Just a lot of little stuff that just pop it on TCG Player and it'll sell. Now we did have some more, of course, like Tempest, Stronghold, Mirage era. That's Silver Age reparations. And a lot of these are near mint, which is pretty rare to see this amount of really nice condition mid and early 90s stuff. I don't think we even touched back into revised or anything like that. Oh, a ton of shocks. I don't think we had a playset of each shocks, but we had some higher end stuff like Parallel Lives. Still yet to be reprinted, but I believe this is being printed as a Judge promo this year at some point. I don't know if that information has been released yet, but yeah, I think Parallel Lives is getting printed soon. Couple Avicens, Lilianas, Snappies. Yeah, just good modern staples. We've got some stuff that spiked for Innistrad Midnight Hunt. I don't think that was intentional. Some people, right after will sell it. And there's many copies, but I think that's the era. Bunch of Steam Vents. Come on. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're working with. And then in the LP category, there's a bunch more of the smaller type mid-90s stuff. We did have a nice Syncopate. This is borderline MP. I believe that was the only real 90s old border foil. And there was a bunch of bulk with this and stuff. A bunch more Parallel Lives. So yeah, I really just wanted to talk about the distribution of grading and how it's pretty rare to see this amount of near mint. Usually we expect LP to be the highest stack, with near mint and MP kind of averaging out. So MP is pretty light over here, which is nice. And we don't pay premiums on near mint because of market shifts, for one, and because it really changes card to card, and it's honestly just too much work to track it all. And usually when you get in a collection, you have these outliers that are in MP condition, some of the bigger boys, and you have some MP HP that kind of, this will be lower than TCG low, and this will be higher than TCG low. But it tends to wash out. Anyway. Yeah, something to look for. The first thing I do when a collection comes in the door is I grade it and audit it and make sure, the HP stack isn't this tall or the MP stack isn't the highest and it goes down like this. This I like to see. Yeah, so cool collections. Nothing too crazy, just a couple Mox Diamonds and such. No dual lands. We still have no dual lands in stock. If you're looking to sell some dual lands, we have a need for them. We always do. So hit us up below at royalcardboardllc@gmail.com. If they're really nice condition duels, we'll pay 80%. And if they're, normal LP, MP played, we'll pay 70%. And we'll take them all off your hands. Up to, 40. We'll buy a place out of everything. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.